Hello again, everyone. This is Chris Mathieu with Forbidden Knowledge News, and I'm inviting you to join me and over 30 of the most extraordinary scientists, researchers, and experiencers ever to come together in what's going to be the most amazing 7-day, 8-night event of 2020, the Laughlin UFO Mega Conference, February 15th through 22nd in Laughlin, Nevada. Today, I'm very happy to welcome author, inventor, and president of the nonprofit, the New Energy Movement, Joel Garbon. Joel, welcome. How are you doing today?
Great, Chris. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm looking forward to meeting you in February at the conference, and I know you're going to have a fascinating presentation for us. First, let's hear a little bit more about yourself. For those that don't know you, give a little introduction. Tell us about your background, and then we'll get into what you'll be presenting.
Okay, great. Well, for my career, it's been science. I've been a consultant in the industrial science field for about 35 years in the chemical industry, pulp and paper industry, the water treatment industry. And so that's been how I've earned a living is traveling around different countries, doing consulting in these industrial fields. And it gave me an opportunity to learn and actually invent some new technology. So I have several patents to my credit for various industrial technologies that have been quite successful in those different industries. And it's been a really, really neat experience for me to learn and apply and hopefully be doing some good things here on the earth. Generally, the technologies that I've invented have environmental benefits, especially in the water treatment field. So that's been quite satisfying for me. I've always had a strong interest in some other topics as well, particularly the advanced energy field. So you had mentioned that I was an author and had been the president of the New Energy Movement, which educates about breakthrough energy technologies and the inventors behind those technologies and what the implications of breakthrough energy technologies are for our planet, which is very pertinent to our time right now, given all the challenges that we have as a species and a lot of the changes going on. So I think everyone kind of gets that. The topic that we're going to be addressing here at the UFO Mega Conference in Laughlin in February is something different, though. It's a relatively new topic for me to discuss. Most every time that I go to a conference, I'm talking about breakthrough energy technologies, and that's how people largely know me and through a book I co-authored called Breakthrough Power. But this is going to be something near and dear to my heart, the topic that I'm going to address at the conference. The name of my presentation is there a universal religion among the advanced inhabited planets? Big question. And I think it's very pertinent to the audience that's going to attend this conference that's focused on the UFO ET issue. Oftentimes at these conferences, and I have attended a number of UFO related conferences before, sometimes as a speaker on the energy topic, other times just as an audience member trying to learn more. This question about religion doesn't really come up usually. It's usually something about, well, was there a sighting? Was there a contact experience? Is there technology? Are there ancient civilizations? This kind of thing. But the topic of religion itself and what the implications are if we could learn something fundamental and true about the origin of things. Is there a creator? How did creation occur? What's the origin of the universe? What's the origin of our planet and our civilization? What's the destiny of mankind? These are big questions that have really huge implications for us as a species. So I want to dive into that topic in a fairly sophisticated and deep level. It's not going to be fluffy. It's really going to go into quite a bit of detail, and including theological detail. And it's going to be challenging for the audience, I believe, because we all know that the topic of religion tends to strike chords in us. And so I'm going to be asking the audience to bring a dispassionate view to what they experience in this presentation, because it's likely going to trigger certain things, maybe on a deep emotional level. And that's reasonable that would happen. But I'd like people to just kind of sit back and allow themselves to expand and really consider this topic. And I think we're going to learn something. Hopefully it becomes quite engaging with some dialogue with the audience too. I'm really hoping there to be some good time for questions afterwards and really get into it. Much of this information that I'm going to present is based on things I've learned from a deep and long-term study of a book, a very fascinating book called the Urantia book. The Urantia book is little known globally, but is known fairly well in certain communities on the planet, including in the UFO community. However, what I found is that generally, even though people may be familiar with the book, may even own it, and may have actually read a few pages in it, or maybe just the back cover, but few actually have really read all the way through it to have a good comprehension of the material itself. I've studied it for 15 years, and I also have a group that occasionally I meet with, many of whom have studied this for over 40 years. So I'm a relative neophyte as far as my research into the information in the book. But it's very fascinating from the standpoint of how comprehensive the material is, how consistent it is, and how coherent it is, that it really makes sense. And what it's addressing are these big topics about origins, history, and destiny, not just of our planet, but the universe itself, and what the relationship is between humanity and the Creator. And it's a very loaded question, and there's all kinds of information in between, but it's a deep dive. So I want to investigate this with the audience and just see if this makes sense to people. It definitely has made sense to me. I don't ask anyone to believe what I believe or to accept anything that I'll present. But I do ask that they be curious, at least for that 90 minutes. And then we see where it goes from there.
You know, it is a fascinating question, because when you look back at some of the ancient spiritual practices and beliefs, it would indicate that the intelligence that some of these ancient cultures were interacting with had some sort of global spiritual or religious beliefs, right?
Yes, that's true. So wouldn't it make sense that if there are advanced planets, advanced inhabited planets, which is kind of like a primary assumption, right? If we're going to have a topic like this, we got to operate under some assumptions. First, that there are other inhabited planets. Second, is that at least some of them are more advanced in their understanding of cosmology and science and unseen reality than we are here on planet Earth. And then a third assumption would be, gosh, could they actually maybe teach us something valuable about what they understand? And in the area of religion itself, or the big question of, is there a creator? How did creation come about? What are our own origins in history and destiny? My gosh, I mean, that could be so powerful in its implications for us here in how we go about our lives on this planet, both singularly and as a community and as nations and as a planetary culture. Just think if we were able to come to a unified understanding of these big questions, and it allowed us to eliminate all the petty squabbling and disagreements and all of the turf protection that goes on in the whole religious view topic in that. So the implications for there to be some type of harmonization for our own culture are very ripe. It's an incredible opportunity, if there's something there that we really think we could learn from. And I do believe that the information in the Urantia book is at least a good start on that, and it's well worth investigating.
Another huge question that I've had for so long is, we used to have such open communication, it would seem, with these beings or these off-world intelligences. I would wonder if one day again we would ever see this open communication, and I think it would help us understand the question that you're actually asking here.
Yeah. Well, I think there's many who would claim that in their contact experiences, and I definitely believe that there are real contactees, that they have had some type of personal revelation occur, based on one-on-one or small group interactions with beings who have more information to share. And even that concept of personal revelation, that is not an alien topic, if you will, even to mainstream religion. For instance, I was raised in a very devout Roman Catholic family, and I'd taken the Catholic faith very seriously, and I appreciate what I have learned in Catholicism, although there are aspects of it that are very unsatisfying to me theologically, and how it addresses the question of origins, history, and destiny. I don't think Catholicism nor any of the mainstream religions on the planet right now, I don't think they do a very good job at addressing origins, history, and destiny. So I think that when we look at the fact that even the mainstream religions do allow in their doctrines and dogma for personal revelation, that says that, okay, if it's possible and it's considered acceptable, then the question is, where's the revelation coming from? And how would we know from looking at someone's testimony what that source of information is? Because it's a deeply personal experience. Revelation itself is intensely personal and perhaps might even be unspeakable to someone else because of the nature of the communication itself. Because the state of mind, the state of emotion, even the question of, am I even in this dimension when a revelation is occurring? These are all kind of debatable questions and topics. But what it lends to is maybe a very limited ability to communicate to others what one has experienced personally and profoundly. I have had some of my own deeply profound personal mystical experiences that I have found very difficult to explain to other people, yet I know what I experienced in truth. Now, in these cases, I don't even care if anyone believes at all that I've had such an experience. I know what I experienced. And from the standpoint of religion itself, I think the most powerful part of religion is on the intensely personal level. So I do believe there is a creator. I believe the creator is a personality and the source of all personality, and desires to have a relationship, just like we do among ourselves. We have our distinct personalities. We have a social nature to us. The most rich aspects of our lives are when we can share ourselves with other people and communicate on a meaningful level. And I think the same applies, from the creator to the created. So I believe the creator is knowable and is very personal and desires communication and relationship with us. And I'm very open to that, as are many millions of people on this planet. And so it's not surprising that there actually is an experience of some type of communication. Now, others might argue about, well, how do you know if it's really from a divine being rather than some lower level, even potentially malevolent being? Well, again, I would say that is something that the individual themselves are going to have to discern. And there is the potential for deception and the potential to experience things that are distorted or misleading or intentionally deceptive. I think there also are at least as many experiences that could be very fulfilling, very truth centered, and that lead people in very progressive changes in their life, even transformational experiences that result in the person themselves having exponential growth, not just in how they think of themselves, but in their ability to be of meaningful service in this world. And I think that's where religion itself has such powerful application in our lives. It's not just a fanciful little merry-go-round chase of imagination and mythology. For someone who is having a serious religious experience, something profoundly spiritual, meaningful to them, it's actually a higher order reality than us getting up, brushing our teeth, and having breakfast and hugging our wife and kids. You know, it's just another order of experience. Every bit as real, but quite different and profound. Very important, though, in how we end up conducting our lives here and giving us insight on what may be coming beyond this life. Big question.
That's huge. And, you know, I very much look forward to your presentation. It's going to be fascinating. Before you head out today, tell everybody any websites or social media, anything they can find your work.
Yeah, I think for this topic in particular, I would prefer that people, if they want to get information about the Urantia book and investigate what it's about, that's probably the best way to go. And an internet source that I use most frequently is simply called truthbook.com. Truthbook.com, and you'll find all kinds of information there, lots of questions. There's some amazing videos, some very professional videos that have been created based on the cosmology that's presented in the Urantia book, as well as testimonies of many people, all kinds of frequently asked questions and things. And it's a really good source, so people can actually listen to the book as it's read aloud in this online kind of audio format there. So that's what I would recommend people. And we'll meet each other at the conferences as well, and I really enjoy that, to have the one-on-one contact.
Definitely. And if people are interested in your energy research and inventions, where can they find your work on that?
Yeah, I would suggest they go to newenergymovement.org, and they'll be able to find all kinds of information about what New Energy Movement is about. Also, if you just Google my name, Joel Garbon, you'll find a lot of presentations I've given at conferences and things like that, so you get the gist of that work.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Joel, for stopping by today. I look forward to meeting you at the conference.
Great, Chris. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The purpose of this amazing event is to disclose some of the truths of our mysterious existence. There's always going to be only one presentation at a time, so you never have to choose one speaker over the other. There's never going to be an insane cost to get a selfie or autograph with one of the speakers. This is also going to be the world's lowest cost convention, but you have to go to Laughlin UFO Mega Conference.com right now to get your discount package prices. I really hope I'm going to see you all there.